My name is Hannah, and this is my no-buy year. For those of you who are always asking about my hair, this is something that I sometimes do. I still have the same braids in that I had in when I was filming my Sephora sale survival tactics video on Tuesday, and I'm filming this on Sunday morning. So this is the 6th day for this hairstyle. It's French braids. I split my hair into two, and then I French braided this side and this side, you can see. And then I took the braids and kind of wove them into each other and wrapped the ends around and pinned it all up with bobby pins. So it was much more formal and clean looking when I filmed that video. I had braided it up right before I filmed that video on Tuesday, but it becomes more and more romantic every night that I sleep on it. And I'd say it's probably good for one more day, if not 2 more days. And then when I take it down, it'll have a lot of wild and fun texture in it. And then after a day or 2 or 3 of that, it will probably be time to wash it again. I will do a whole video about my hair at some point. I absolutely promise, it's on the list, but a hair video has not even been nearly as highly requested as this video, my makeup collection and storage video. This is absolutely the most highly requested video on my channel of all time. I did not pick up every single item and go through every single item. I showed you everything and I showed you where everything is being stored, but I didn't do a full-on collection inventory of every single item. And here's why. I am really ready to do a serious declutter. I recently did that little declutter into a box, where I went through and I picked out everything that immediately stuck out at me as something that I don't want anymore, and I put all that stuff into a box. But as I've said before on this channel, the less I buy, the less I want. And I'm starting to feel like I still have too much of everything. I feel like I have too much eyeshadow. I feel like I have too many lip products, definitely. And I am ready to start a series. I'm going to start a declutter series where I declutter each category of makeup in a separate video. So in those videos, in that series, I will be handling every single makeup item that's currently in my collection, and I'll be able to show you the color. I'll be able to open all of the palettes and show them to you one by one. My upcoming intensive declutter series will, in essence, also be a full collection inventory. So I didn't feel the need to show every single individual item in this video. This video is more of a tour of my little office space and a survey of how I store my makeup and my skincare. But from the footage I just shot, you will be able to get an excellent idea of what I have. You'll be able to see how much I have, what that looks like, just in general, what I'm dealing with during my no-buy year. One of my greatest regrets is that I did not take a photograph of my vanity before I started my no-buy. I really, really wish that I had a before and after, or that I had a before and during, I guess, because this is still during. But I can tell you that especially my skincare, especially over in my skincare corner, I think I have half as much as I had when I started the year. There were just so many little bottles and tins and jars and things on this side of my vanity, and there are still a lot you're about to see, but it at least feels right now like everything I have is something that I'm using. So I can't show you how huge of a change there has been in the organization of my space since the beginning of the year, but I can tell you that there really has been an enormous change, and I'm starting to enjoy working and living in this space more and more as the year goes on and my collection gets whittled down. But it still hasn't been whittled down enough for my liking. I want more space, I want less stuff, and I will be moving in that direction soon. One more thing before we get into the tour. I just wanted to touch briefly on why I have this room, like why I have this space. It's not a beauty room. We didn't rent an apartment with an extra room for me to keep my vanity in and do my makeup in. In fact, when we moved into this apartment, my vanity was in the bedroom. This is my office. And that's mostly what it's designed for. As many of you know, I am a writer and I also run a small business with my partner. So I do a lot of work at my computer. I work with these books a lot. I spend a lot of time sitting either in my office chair or at my desk writing. And in fact, we rented this apartment and I set up this space as my office before I even knew that I was going to start a YouTube channel. I don't think I'll ever be able to convince Joe to include a beauty room in our budgeting ever. But after I started my channel, I moved my vanity in here and now this room has become multi-purpose and doubly useful. And I can tell you, having done the apartment search, even though we budgeted for it, we were very, very lucky to find an apartment in LA that we could afford that had this extra little half bedroom in it that I could use as my office. So I feel super grateful and super lucky every time I walk into this space. All right, enough talking about it. I want to show it to you. So let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. Okay, so this is the entrance to my little office from the rest of the apartment. On the left there is the doorway to our bedroom, and this is the doorway to my office. This is what it looks like. Over here I have my desk, my work desk, and a little chair. This is an old electric typewriter that I like to use for composition sometimes. It's useful because you can't delete what you write. And this is one of my favorite pieces of art. It's a depiction of Pearl from RuPaul's Drag Race by the artist Chad Sell. I will definitely leave him linked down below. He does incredible work. And over here I have the all-male poet party, which cracks me up every time. We have Steven Spender, Auden, Ted Hughes, Elliot, and good old Louis McNeese there in the corner. This is a calendar that my sister gave me for Christmas. It's the RuPaul's Drag Race calendar. This is from the creators of the RuPaul's Drag Race Instagram, which I will also link down below. They dress their cat up like famous drag queens, and it's amazing. So I have my desk here with some extra books being stored against the back. Up on top of the bookshelf, I keep my only wig on a little wig head. I've only had one occasion to wear this wig, but I just can't let it go yet. These are mostly poetry books down here on the shelf, and then all of the rest of our books are either stacked here or up here, and there are also a bunch in the living room. Behind this door is a little tiny room that has a washer dryer in it. We were really lucky to rent an apartment in LA that has a washer dryer. And here I have my little Buddha statue. This is a basket of papers that I've set aside waiting for the Marie Kondo method to get around to the paper stage. Once these papers are sorted, I'm hoping that this basket will fit over here in this shelving unit that it's designed for. So the basket underneath there has all of our electronics in it. That's also something that I need to sort through. And then the other basket will fit right on top with papers in it after I've managed to go through them and sort them. This is another favorite artwork of mine. It's called Dog Boy, and it's a print by my friend Anna Wagner. I will leave her website linked down below too. She does some amazing and super interesting work. She's incredibly talented and has a unique sensibility, to say the least. She told me when she gave me this print that every dog is the face of a dog that she has known in her life. And then there's the dog boy down there at the bottom. So amazing. Here in this corner is my main gig. This is the chair in which I spend a good deal of time. I often sit here editing and writing and working in general. If I don't feel like sitting up at a desk, then this is where I'm sitting. And I've parked two of my favorite plants next to my writing space to keep me company. This is Figgy 2. Figgy 1 is at the Poema Studio downtown. And then that right there is J.D. Pinkett Smith. I feel like I'm not getting a good shot of Figgy 2 and JD Pinkett Smith. There you go. There you can see how beautiful they are. This is a lamp that is like a giant version of a little desk lamp, which I really love. I like oversized and weirdly sized things. I got it at Home Goods. If it's still available, I'll link that as well. And then this is a really cool thing. It's cork board in little strips. There's nothing up there right now, but I use that cork board when I'm working on a writing project and I need to pin pages up in order so that I can get a general idea of how they are laid out visually. So if I'm putting things in order in a manuscript or putting sections of a poem in order or something, I frequently use that little system with pins and cork boards. And down here next to my vanity is where I store my ring light. So the camera that I'm holding right now actually fits right onto that little mount in the middle of the ring light, and then I set the ring light up on top of my vanity when I'm filming. This is where I sit when I'm filming, and I'll come back to that in a moment. That's the main focus of this video. But behind the door, I've stored some art that I haven't managed to hang yet. And here's another really gorgeous poster. This was also a gift from a friend of my family who was lucky enough to attend the first Geraldine R. Dodge Poetry Festival in New Jersey. And she purchased the poster from the first ever annual Dodge Poetry Festival, and she had it framed. It has this gorgeous Walt Whitman quote, "I believe the leaf of grass is no less than the journey work of the stars." It's pretty awesome. And then right next to that is this piece of ceramic art that I purchased when I was in Buenos Aires studying tango some years ago. And also above the door, I have a painting that I did when I was studying painting in art school. It's a painting of myself as a child painting a painting. And then I have my empties bag hanging on the back of the door. It's an old tango shoe bag, and that's where I put my empties when they become empty. And down here next to my vanity is this little side table, and it has a box under it. This is where I store all of my hair care products. They're all just kind of jumbled in there together. I don't reach for hair care on a daily basis. I'll brush my hair right before I wash it, about once a week, and then I'll put product in maybe the day after I wash it or directly after I wash it when it's wet. But I don't reach for any of those products or tools frequently enough to be storing them on or in my vanity. So I just keep them down there in that little box, and I pull it out once, twice, maybe 3 times a week if I'm feeling fancy. So here's the vanity. I'm trying to back up far enough to get the whole thing in the shot. You get the idea. This mirror is actually a full-length IKEA mirror. It goes all the way underneath, if you can see that. We were using it in our bedroom for a long time, and then at some point I just co-opted it to go behind this vanity. Both the mirror and the vanity are from IKEA, and I will link them. And these little lights, there's me. Hi. I'm wearing my genie pants today. These little lights were a wonderful addition to my vanity. I'll turn them on actually. So they have this touch button down here. You just tap it and they turn on. And they are wonderful. They really, really help illuminate my face, and they're also dimmable. So I'm holding it down and they dim. Holding it down again and they're brightening. And then you can tap on, tap off. They were really easy to install. They work beautifully, and I actually recommend them highly if you're looking to kind of create your own vanity mirror. I'm gonna go ahead and sit down. This is my vanity stool. I got it at a secondhand shop. So my skincare is over here on this side of the vanity. I have my Bioderma, which has a flip top and a little pressing thing so that I can take a cotton pad and press down on top of that to get it soaked, and that is really convenient. As you all may already know, I hate having to pick bottles up and unscrew caps. I like being able to just reach over and get my product with as little fanfare as possible. So in the front here, I have my eye patches, my current moisturizing sunscreen, my current night cream, and my night lip sleeping mask. This is the Laneige water sleeping cream, and this is the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask. This is another product that I'm using as a night cream. I purchased this for my boyfriend ages ago and he never really used it. And actually, when I had run out of night cream, but I had already ordered this, but it wasn't arrived yet, I was desperate and I searched through our cabinets and I found this. It didn't belong to me at the beginning of the year, so it's not technically a part of my rules. Like, I was able to buy this because this wasn't mine, but I asked my boyfriend if I could start using it and he was like, yeah, I never use it. And I've been using it and I love it. I think I might like it more than this one. I'll talk about it more in my empties, but it's a really inexpensive moisturizer and I'm liking it a lot. Over here I have this can of grape water that I purchased for some reason at some point. I'm almost out of that, thank goodness. It really doesn't have a place in my skincare routine. This is my lotion P50. This is my moisturizing essence or my moisturizing toner. And then back here I've got my Sunday Riley oils. These are all of my serums and oils from The Ordinary, some eye drops, and I've got setting spray, a bottle of Good Genes that one of my friends recently gave me. She was just like, it's not working for me. And I was like, don't you want to return it? And she was like, no, it's been kind of a long time. I really want you to have it. What an incredible gift. I really did not know what to do with myself. But once again, Good Genes is back in my collection through no fault of my own. So I've been keeping it there. I'll talk about that more in my empties too, because I do have some thoughts about what I'm doing with this bottle of Good Genes. Here is my COSRX Galactomyces Essence, a little sample size of all-nighter setting spray that I acquired somehow. C-Firma Day Serum, a jade roller. Back here is where I keep my masks, my sheet masks. This is usually where I have my Shiseido cotton pads, but I'm almost all out, so there aren't very many in there right now. My beauty blenders are there, and then here I keep my only remaining eye cream, a little hair oil, a little sample size of a serum, another sample size of a serum, and this is Neosporin, which I'll sometimes put on a pimple if I think that it might be getting infected. Moving over to the center, I have my brushes. Most of them are pretty clean. A lot of these are stained. Mostly these are eye brushes and these are face brushes, although I do have some face brushes in here and my highlighting brush over here. It just seems to fit better in there. I feel like my brush jars are a little bit overstuffed. It might be about time for a brush declutter. I will probably be doing that soon. Here I have up this face chart that came with my Marc Jacobs Style Icon palette a couple of years ago. It's got suggestions for 5 different eye looks and little paint by numbers descriptions that you can use. I especially like this one, especially like that kind of modern day flapper type of face chart, but mostly this is just up for decoration. This is the mirror that I use most of the time to do my makeup, and I've got a photograph that I took a long time ago. This is a pond near the town I was born in the mountains of North Carolina, where my parents still live. It's a little pond that's tucked away in the forest. Love it so much. Okay. So here we have the main event. Some of my makeup is down here in this drawer. We'll get to that in a second, but a lot of it is up here on the top. And right here on my vanity right now, I have these samples of sunscreens from Sephora that I've been trying out for my search for the best mineral sunscreen. And I also have this little sample that an indie brand sent to me, Erin's Faces. That's the one I'm trying out today, and I'm actually very impressed, but I'll talk about that in another video soon. So I have these little acrylic drawers. In the bottom, I keep most of my gloss style lip products, and then there are a few other non-glosses that didn't fit anywhere else that are in there. In this drawer, I have all of my lip liners and eyeliners. I don't really see a reason to separate them because it's so easy to tell at a glance which ones are which. And I don't have that many lip liners. So this is mostly eye products. And then if I need a lip liner, I can just reach in here and find it pretty easily. Up here I have single shadow type products. So this is my Armani eye tint, is that what they're called? And so that's like a liquid eye product. Then I have some cream shadow sticks from Laura Mercier. I have this single from NARS. These are my Natasha Denona Chroma Crystal top coats that are in there. And then over here I've got my 5 ColourPop Super Shock shadows. Up here on top I've got most of my lip products stored. I don't know how well you can see this little acrylic container, but it's got 3 tiers. So I put taller things in the back so that they don't fall over, and then more traditionally sized lipsticks can go in the front. So this thing is pretty much full. It's actually over full. It's more than 90% full. I would really like to reduce the number of lipsticks that I own altogether. So here in the front, I keep all of my lip products that don't fit into the little slots. So like this one, it has too big of a base. This is the Fenty Beauty lip paint. And my Tom Ford lipstick won't fit in there. These ones are kind of too fat to fit in there. So they stand up on top of the acrylic drawers. And then over here, I have another little similar but much smaller way to store lip products. And this is where I keep most of my reds. So here is where I keep my Kevyn Aucoin Neo highlighter in Sahara. It's in pretty rough shape. I think you can kind of tell. A lot of people have suggested that I repress this. I think it might be, well, there's 2 things. One, I think it might be kind of beyond the point of being able to be repressed, and it's working pretty well for me to just keep it flat on my vanity all the time. I've been using it almost every day, so I'm making some pretty dramatic headway with it. But the other reason I don't want to repress it is that I still make use of the fact that it's different on either side. So this side is really a bronzer on me, and this side is really kind of a blushy highlighter for me. And then I also use the middle section for its own purposes. I really use the 3 different portions of it for 3 different purposes. And so I'm loath to kind of mix the powders together. And it's doing pretty well as is. I think I might pan it. I think I'm gonna get there, even though it's so gigantic. This is one of my most reached for and most used products. And then this is the little area in which I keep my Shop My Stash items. So these are the 4 things I shopped my stash for in my most recent Shop My Stash video. And I just keep them right here on top of my vanity so that I can remember what they are and remember to reach for them as frequently as possible. And then here is my eyeshadow and face palette storage. So I try to keep my face palettes over on this side. This is a Morphe blush palette that I actually really like, Moonchild Glow Kit, a ColourPop face palette, and my NARS cheek palette. And then back here, there's another NARS highlighter and bronzer palette. So these are kind of all my face palettes on this side. Then I've got my Wet n Wild Comfort Zone, little Smashbox Smoky Eye palette, the Urban Decay Moon Dust palette, the Style Icon palette from Marc Jacobs. That's the one that this piece of artwork is referring to. Here's my electric palette. This is one of my palettes of single shadows. I recently moved my single shadows around again, and I created this kind of bronzy, greeny, sparkly, smoky palette that I've been reaching for a lot. I really, really like this combination of singles right now. My other Z palette is right here, and this is my Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, and then the Jaclyn Hill palette all the way there in the back. So that is how I store my palettes. And I will try to link these acrylic things. I got them all from Amazon. I will try to link them in the description box. I might not be able to find the exact ones, but acrylic storage is just everywhere on Amazon. And if you search for what you want, I think you'll probably be able to find it. I'm really happy with the ones that I have, although again, I feel like I have one too many storage objects up here on the surface of my vanity. I would really like to see this section reduced by maybe 1/3 of its size by the end of the year. Over here in this corner, I've got everything that's related to glitter. So a little Martha Stewart glitter that I once saw Adore Delano use in a tutorial. Adore Delano is a drag queen, and the effect was so incredible that I immediately purchased it, and I almost never use it. Story of my life. Some other little glitters that I've acquired along the way. All of my Stila glitter and glows are in here, and my Urban Decay heavy metal eyeliners are in here. My glitter glue is in here, and then I've got a couple of little things of gems that are in there. So that's all of my glittery and fun stuff. Back here I have a little box in which I'm storing the single shadows that don't fit into my magnetic palettes. It's kind of awkward that they're just out there in the open air, but they never get disturbed back there because this is as far as the drawer comes out. It's actually kind of annoying that you can't get at what's back there. So it used to be that things would like get back there and get lost, and there was this whole back of the drawer that I didn't know what was back there. It was like this junk area. I really hated that. So months ago at this point, I cleared out my drawer and reorganized it so that everything that's back there can at least be seen from the front. And most of them are things that I rarely ever reach for. So those single shadows are pretty well protected back there. Sometimes I go back there and kind of fish around in there and pull out something new and then move some of the single shadows that I have in my palette into that box. I do trade things out from time to time. This is a little empty now container of brush cleaner, the little bowl that I use for brush cleaning. I am going to have to replace this at some point, but I've just been kind of keeping it there to remind myself that I need to order a new one. But I'm reluctant to order a new one. I don't like spending money anymore. This little box right here holds all of my complexion products. So my foundation, my 3 foundations from The Ordinary. This is my Glossier skin tint that I use from time to time, although it's not very tenacious. That's its main problem. My cream concealer, which is Shape Tape. My spot concealer, which is NARS Soft Matte Creamy. This is my color corrector. This is my old Bare Minerals powder foundation that I almost never use anymore. This might get decluttered. I keep it around because it can sometimes be useful for concealing a really, really stubborn, wet blemish. It's my only powder foundation. So I'm sort of waiting to see how many months I go without ever reaching for it. It's probably not going to stick around that much longer. I don't feel like I quite need it. And then my 2 loose powders. This is the Besame Violet Brightening Powder, and this is the little mini of the Laura Mercier. I very, very rarely use loose powders ever at all, so these are just kind of going to last me forever. This is a little box in which I keep my sharpeners. And then here in the middle, I have an acrylic drawer that just contains basically my most reached for products, the things that I use every day. So I have all of my primers in here. I've acquired an alarming number of primers since I ran out of primer completely and repurchased this one. So there was a time during my no buy year when I had no primers left, so I purchased my Holy Grail, which is the Optical Illusion Complexion Primer. And since then, I have received as a gift from a friend the Laura Mercier Hydrating Primer, Smashbox Photo Focus, and this little tiny Professional, which I'm almost done with. I really don't like it. I'll talk about that in my empties. And this little sample came my way, which is like a Kiehl's thing. I'm not even sure if it's meant to be a primer, but that's kind of how it fits into my routine. This is my almost completely panned Urban Decay primer potion. That's my eye primer. I also received this from a friend, which is the Smashbox eye primer. That's one of my old favorites, so I was really happy to take that off of her hands. This is a little face epilator for removing peach fuzz. I don't use it all that often, but this is just where it fits, so it lives here. And then I've got my 1 waterproof mascara, my 1 regular mascara, and then this little sample size mascara that came with an order that I placed. It's the Urban Decay Perversion. So my mascaras are up here, my brow gel is up here, and then this is just where I keep, obviously, tweezers and clippers and hairbands in there. And then there's nothing back there behind that drawer. That's so important for me that things don't slip back there and get lost because I'll never find them again. Back here is my makeup bag that I use like on the everyday. This was actually the VIB Rouge gift this year when I hilariously made VIB Rouge during my no-buy year. I received this, but it is a nice sturdy bag. And the thing that's really nice about it is that it fits a palette. Like many palettes will fit into this. This is the old one that I was using, was this little one from a couple of years ago. And not only was the zipper breaking, actually I should probably just get rid of this. I don't know why I'm keeping it down under here. But that one is so little that it only would fit like a few things. But this, like I can put even like this palette, I can put in there. And that's become really useful to me, especially on photo shoot days when I do like a really, really full face of makeup and then I need to take most of the makeup that I used with me to the studio in case I need to retouch. So I've really been enjoying this bag. What I do is I take this bag out pretty much every day. And then as I do my makeup, I put the things that I might need to retouch into that bag. And then I take it with me to work. And then when I come home at the end of the day, I bring it back in here and I unpack everything and put it back into its place. And then I store the bag here overnight. And I don't take the bag every day. So I like having a place for it so that it's not just floating around on top of my vanity all the time. It's nice to be able to put it away and put everything away when I'm done using it. I've also got a roll of regular Scotch tape under there if I ever want to tape up the sides of my eyes for a sharp line. And then on this side of the drawer, these beautiful things. This isn't really the best method for storing blushes and highlighters. This is just what I have right now. It might be nice someday to have something better, but maybe not, right? It's working fine. It's not like it's not working. It's just not the most elegant. They often kind of fall down and get mixed together in here, but there are few enough of them that I feel like I can always see what I have when I open this drawer. So these are the blushes over here. I've put this Wet n Wild illuminating palette in the blush section because it really reads as a blush on me. Someone recently gave me this liquid Hoola bronzer, and blush are pretty much the same thing for me. It's like all one category. And so everything that's in that realm is over here on this side of this drawer. And over here on this side of this drawer are single highlighters. So I've got all of these little tiny cream highlighters and they're really starting to annoy me. This is a section that I definitely feel like I need to declutter. I'm kind of looking forward to decluttering. So I'm actually not feeling like I have way too many highlighters right now, especially these powder highlighters. I just feel like this section over here is kind of a mess and doesn't get much attention from me because it's a little bit hard to tell one from the other. I need to address that. And then in this box back here, I have lashes, which you guys have never seen me wear. I went through a phase where I was wearing lashes for the Poema photo shoot almost every week. And then I started to realize that it really was having a detrimental effect on my natural lashes. I was losing lashes. My lashes weren't looking as good during the week just from wearing false lashes once a week. So I kept the lashes that I had acquired during that time, but I haven't worn false lashes probably in over a year. That's another category that's probably going to get hit by my declutter. So stay tuned. I think that's everything. I can't think of anything that I didn't show you. There's the panoramic view once again. I hope this wasn't too boring. And that is it. That is what the rest of my little space looks like. And now you know what exists beyond the confines of this frame. And more importantly for most of you, I think, now you have a clearer picture of what my makeup collection looks like, a general understanding of how much stuff I have and what kind of resources I'm actually dealing with as I make my way through this no-buy year. If you have any questions about anything that you saw in the footage that I took, don't hesitate to ask them in the comment section down below and I will answer you to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll remember to take extra good care of yourself in the coming week so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.